Welcome back to the channel. The atmosphere is thick with unspoken ultimatums as the walls close in on our favorite Port Charles resident. We are witnessing a seismic shift in momentum, where the line between fiction and reality shatters, leaving everyone facing impossible choices with no clear way out. Let us dive into the wreck. According to the reports, Sheree is claiming that she actually allowed their daughter Brooklyn to move from Tennessee to California. This was supposed to happen even though Steve relocated back to the West. But Sheree is out here admitting that their communication is absent. She says she is the primary caregiver, which, okay, fair enough, moms usually are in these situations. But then she drops the bomb that Steve traveled extensively and spent the majority of his time in New York or Tennessee when he was not filming on set in Los Angeles. Wait, I am getting ahead of myself. Let me just process that first. If you are fighting for custody, why are you spending all your free time in New York when your kid and your job are out west? I mean, I love Steve, I really do. He is Jason. But hearing that he moved cross-country for the second time without his daughter, that is a tough pill to swallow for those of us who idolize his on-screen persona as the ultimate protector. Sheree says she signed a stipulation that she thought was in Brooklyn's best interest, and now everything is just falling apart. And the text messages. Can we talk about the text messages? They battled it out in March, and US Weekly got Steve is straight up accusing Sheree of manipulation regarding their custody. Sheree is firing back, accusing the soap star of completely upending their daughter's life and moving when Brooklyn was clearly happy in California with the life they had already built. Just look at what Steve texted her. He literally wrote, "I know your priority is not having her spend activities do not trump time with family." Again, this is something you signed and you decided to neglect that and now put it on Brooklyn. And now you get to say, "Dad won't let you," when you should have said it's not going to work. Wow. The passive aggression is off the chart. I mean, I get it, he is frustrated. He is a dad who wants to see his kid. But reading that text feels so surreal. It is like watching a real-life soap opera play out. Jason would never send a text like that. Jason would just stand there in his black t-shirt, stare stoically, and maybe shoot a WSB agent to solve it. But Steve is out here writing paragraphs about signed stipulations and family time trumping extracurricular activity. And Sheree's response? She is just so done. She hits back with, "Please just enjoy your weekend with your daughter. I'm done talking about this." Like, she is setting a boundary, and honestly, I kind of respect it. When you are co-parenting and the communication is that toxic, sometimes you just have to drop the mic and walk away. But Steve could not let it go. He responded again, saying, "The truth is, you've never been willing to work with anything. If you were, we never would have gone to court in the first place just to see my daughter. I am sorry, but my heart actually breaks reading that last. Just to see my daughter." You can feel the desperation. You can feel the anger. And it makes me look at his recent scenes on General Hospital in a completely different light. Have you noticed how intense Steve's performances have been since he came back? When Jason reunited with Danny at the Quartermain boathouse, the emotion was so raw. Jason had been locked in a WSB black site, tortured, suffering from severe PTSD, all because he took the fall for Rocco Falconeri shooting Ross Cullen. Jason sacrificed his own freedom, his own life, just to protect a kid. And he came back fundamentally changed, deciding to officially quit Sonny Corinthos' mob organization just so he could be a proper father to Danny. Like, think about that scene where Jason tells Tracy Quartermain that he is done hiding bodies. He is done being Sonny's hitman. He is stepping away from the violence because Danny is his only priority. When Steve Burton is delivering those lines, looking deep into the camera with that haunted expression, how much of that is Jason's trauma, and how much of that is Steve Burton's real-life agony over his custody battle? The lines are completely blurred for me now. I cannot watch Jason fight for Danny without thinking about Steve fighting for Brooklyn. I know some people are loving this real-life drama, eating up the gossip like it is candy, but personally, I hate seeing families torn apart. Remember when they tried this kind of messy custody storyline on the show with Michael and Nell? Yeah, didn't work then either. It just made everyone miserable. And now we are seeing it in real life. Sheree claims Steve upended everything. Steve claims Sheree is manipulating the system and neglecting signed agreements. It is a classic he said, she said, and the only person who really loses here is the 12-year-old girl caught in the middle. Sometimes I contradict myself because I am so emotional about this. One minute, I am furious at Steve for supposedly moving cross-country without his kid and spending all his time in New York. Like, if you want custody, be there. Be present. But then the next minute, I read his text about having to go to court just to see his daughter, and I am entirely on. The family court system is so broken, and if a father wants to be in his child's life, the mother should not be using extracurricular activities as an excuse to block his visitation. I mean, activities do not trump family. He is right about Family is everything. And speaking of messy custody battles, can we talk about what is happening on the show right now with Michael and Willow? Because the parallels are literally screaming at me. Michael Corinthos is gearing up for a ruthless, scorched earth custody war against Willow over Wiley and Amelia. Michael just found out that his shady girlfriend Jacinda Bracken went rogue and drugged Willow's iced latte with pills from Ezra Boyd. Michael was horrified that Jacinda put the mother of his children in danger, so he dumped her, handed her an envelope of cash, and sent her packing. But instead of taking the high road, Michael is now using evidence from Trina and Kai that Willow shot Drew Kane to threaten Willow and demand full custody. Michael is playing dirty. He is using every piece of leverage he has to destroy his ex-wife and family court. And while I am watching Michael do this on screen, I am reading about Steve and Cherie doing it in real life. Is Steve using these text messages as leverage? Is Cherie using Steve's travel schedule as leverage? It is all about who has the upper hand. Who can prove the other parent is unfit or uncooperative? It makes me sick to my stomach. I mean, children are not pawns. Brooklyn is not a pawn, and Wiley and Amelia are not. And look at Lulu and Valentine Cassadine. Lulu is having a complete nuclear meltdown right now because she found out Carly was hiding fugitive Valentine in her attic for months, and Charlotte knew about it and was secretly visiting. Lulu is absolutely livid, threatening to launch a massive legal war to completely cut Valentine out of Charlotte's life. Dante even warned Lulu that her overprotectiveness is going to drive her kids. Valentine warned Dante that Lulu will permanently lose Charlotte if she continues this aggressive custody. Is that what is happening with Cherie? Is she being so overprotective and rigid with the schedule that she is going to end up driving Brooklyn away? Because kids grow up. 12 years old is practically a teenager. In a few years, Brooklyn is going to have her own voice, her own opinions, and she is going to remember who made it impossible for her to. But on the flip side, she is also going to remember if her dad chose to live in New York or Tennessee instead of being present in California. I just cannot wrap my head around the logistics. Cherie says Steve moved cross-country twice without Brooklyn. Twice? If you are an actor working in Los Angeles on General Hospital, why are you moving away from your kid? I know he had that stint on Days of Our Lives, and maybe he had other projects, but you make it work. You stay close. Because the minute you create physical distance, you give the other parent the perfect excuse to say that he is not here anyway, so why disrupt her schedule? So when Steve texts that he knows her priority is not having her spend time with us, I have to roll my eyes. Like, dude, you move. You created the distance. You cannot move across the country and then complain that the primary caregiver is prioritizing the child's local activities over your highly complicated visitation schedule. Activities do matter when you are 12. Dance, sports, friends, school, that is a kid's whole world. You cannot just uproot them on a whim because you finally have a free weekend from filming your mob scenes with Sunny. But then I catch myself again. Wait, I am being too harsh on. Because I know how the family court system works. And I know how easily a custodial parent can weaponize a child's schedule to freeze the non-custodial parent out. Oh, sorry, she has soccer practice. Oh, sorry, she has a birthday. It is the oldest trick in the book. And if Cherie signed a legal stipulation agreeing to specific family time, she has to honor it. You cannot just decide to neglect a court order because it is inconvenient. That is exactly why Steve is so furious. The truth is, you have never been willing to work with anything. That line hits hard. It implies years of stonewall, years of begging for time. I am literally pacing around my living room right now. I am so fired up. I just want my soap stars to be happy. I want them to have perfect, peaceful lives off screen so they can entertain me with their messy, chaotic lives on. Is that too much to ask? Apparently, it is. Because the drama off screen is currently eclipsing the drama on screen. Let us talk about the absolute sheer audacity of leaking these texts. March. That was right around the time Jason was making his epic return. The PR machine was in full swing, everyone was celebrating Steve Burton coming back to GH, and bam. US Weekly drops this embarrassing custody drama. It feels calculated. It feels like someone wanted to rain on his parade. And if it was Cherie, that is incredibly petty. But if it was Steve trying to get ahead of a negative narrative, it completely backfired because it just makes them both look toxic. I mean, look at Anna Devane right now. Anna is suffering from severe hallucinations of Peter Ogden. Her mental health is completely fracturing, and she is being driven down a dark, vengeful path. She is letting the trauma of her Windermere captivity destroy her grip on reality. Sometimes I feel like these real-life custody battles do the exact same thing. They fracture your reality. You become so obsessed with winning, so obsessed with destroying your ex, that you hallucinate them as the ultimate villain. Steve sees Cherie as a manipulative gate. Cherie sees Steve as an absentee disruptor. They are both hallucinating the worst possible version of each other, and they cannot see the truth. And the truth is, Brooklyn needs them both. Just like Danny needs Jason. On the show, Danny was spiraling. He was breaking into the WSB field office. He was begging Sonny to let him join the mob. He was completely out of control because he did not have. Jason realized that. Jason looked at his son and said he has to leave the mob. He has to be a dad. Jason made the ultimate sacrifice for his kid. I want Steve to make that same sacrifice. I want him to drop the ego, drop the angry text messages, move back to California full-time, and just be there. Do not fight in court. Fight in person by showing up to every single one of those extracurricular activities. If Cherie says activities trump family time, then make the activities your family. Go to the game. Go to the recitals. Sit in the front row and cheer louder than anyone. Prove her wrong by being so undeniably present that no court in the world could ever deny you time. That is what a real hero is. That is what Jason would do. And I know Steve Burton has that in. He has played the hero for decades. He knows what it looks like. He just needs to apply it to his real life. Okay. I think I have finally vented enough. I am drained. I am emotionally spent. I am going to close my laptop, take a deep breath, and pray that Brooklyn Burton is shielded from all this tabloid garbage. She deserves a normal, happy childhood, not a front row seat to her parents' public war. Because if they do not figure this out, this custody battle is going to drag on for years. It is going to drain their bank accounts, destroy their peace of mind, and leave permanent scars on their... Just like the mob wars in Port Charles leave permanent scars on everyone. Will Steve and Cherie ever find peace, or is this custody war destined to destroy them both? Drop your wild theories in the comments below, and hit that subscribe button for more updates.